Alright, motherfucker, you ready to get pampered? I brought you oh my god, you're so tall, I forgot.
Bachelor. He's done something horrible, yet he managed to track the disease.
Has anyone been following you? I brought you some meat and twirine stock. Will you eat? Meat and twirine. You're a sly one. Thank you. By the way, don't believe them when they tell you you shouldn't eat meat. You can, unless it's raw. We've recently established that the disease doesn't survive for long outside the human body. Why are you hiding here? I'm an outlaw now, just like you. Do you know what the word outlaw means? It means... well, it means the powers that be are out to get you, right? Nonsense. The powers that be have nothing to do with it. It's much deeper than that, and simpler. How so? It's alright, keep eating. There's no escaping the law. I didn't break the law when I stole Simon's body, but when I put up a struggle. And also when I unveiled a forbidden secret. What secret? Simon's blood has given us the vaccine. And I mean it. Simon fought valiantly against the sand pest. He was the only one to defy it, but he didn't last long enough. I think there are other bodies like his, and yet his blood was special. How? Doesn't matter. It's blood that can fight the disease. And if the disease is the law and the will of nature, then this is the blood of someone who dictates his own will to the universe instead of yielding to the whims of nature. A deep thought. Are you a philosopher? A little, as every doctor is. You see, I'm a Menku as well, and every Menku is an Oinen. But it was the bachelor who pointed me towards the idea. There are indeed special people in the world, people whose very nature challenges the laws. If you help me, I'm going to search for such people. You're going to become the Ripper? Not necessarily. I'll try to use the kin to search for them when the termitary reopens. They deal with blood a lot. Or maybe there was a reason Simon used such a strange principle to select his bound, seeing as his bound included children and thieves. May I ask you a few questions? No. I know about your hypnotic talents already. If you get me a pardon from Kane Sr., I'll tell you everything of my own accord. Honestly, I will. I'm on the brink of turning myself in anyway. Alright, I'll visit Kane. In the meantime, eat your meal. There. See what a hungry giant you are? Who's your big hungry boy? Who's your hungry boy? Yes, you are. He's fucking huge, though.
I've approved of my actions.
Jesus Christ, like, look at the height. It's comical. He was already noticeably tall with every other character, but, like, those are, like, adult men. And as far as I can tell, it seems like Clara's a child? That really didn't stand out to me until I was her. Like, I'd see her around, I'm like, oh, she's kind of short. But, you know, I don't think I got the implication they were going for. I don't think the visuals quite pulled off that, if that's what they were going for. So I guess I can kind of see it maybe, but she looks like she's like... When I see Clara's face and character model and height and everything from the perspective of other characters, my general takeaway is that she's like, I don't know, 24 or something like that. Yeah, look at that. That does not look like a child's face, really. Nothing about her seems that childlike, but she's explicitly child-sized whenever you're going around. And people seem to refer to her like she is actually literally a child. And that's where I get thrown off a little bit. This is immunity pills. I mean, I don't really have a lot of immunity pills, do I? I have a tendency to rely more heavily. Let's keep the. You're a child. I'll keep the schmatter. The items I can keep. You get schmatters. Oh. We almost had a hat trick of me finding a drunk in this exact intersection right here and getting a bandage every time, but nope. Third time's the tourniquet. Hey, I got another nut to trade for those things. The schmouters, there we go. I was like, just lost the made-up word. The made-up word's escaping me. It's not coming back. Yeah, I didn't really feel like they were conveying through text or visuals that she was childlike, really. Until I was playing as her, and then suddenly I feel like I'm constantly being reminded that she's... I don't need to buy any more ammo. I'm not using my current pool, so let's not keep spending more on it. So I don't know. There's cultural stuff sometimes where some cultures are more likely to refer to someone as being a kid or something, or an old man at ages that are not actually accurate, and so on. Like all the Japanese games and animes and whatnot, where they're all like, "Come get out of the way, old man," and then, like, the old man character is like a 20-year-old, and you're like, what? That's expensive. It's a bit expensive. Oh shit. That's the 2, yeah. Click. That's what I got the knives for, though. Is to trade for kind of expensive pills. I'm very thankful for the fact that knives, because they can't be used, no longer are counted as weapons, and more importantly, because they don't have durability. Oh shit. Will you play with us? What's that in your eyes? Here, look at me. You said you'd play with me yet, and they say you'll be caught tomorrow. Did you tell me a lie then? I've never lied to you, have I? And that means everything's going to be fine. Stop whining. Stop whining. How do I trade with you? Oh, there we go. You just have shotgun shells. Boring. Boring. But yeah, it seems to be at this point vaguely implied that maybe I'm playing as a spirit that might have inhabited the body of a dead child. Judging by the way that the story starts, where I seem to just come out of a grave. And I think there was a few lines of dialogue that seemed to hint at that kind of confusion, where my character themselves may not be aware of who they are, or how they got this body or whatnot. But we've seen that I feel like that happened more in the early days, and then in later days, our character is more explicitly just embracing being a child that works for these adult figures. To an almost weird amount, actually. How quickly she seems to have given up any semblance of, like, free will or identity to some extent. She's just kind of been absorbed into the Saburov conglomerate, which as far as we know, doesn't pan out, because in the other campaigns she's exiled from the Saburov, so I'm curious to see where her story goes at that point. The rat prophet claims that our sister isn't real, and I still don't know if that's true or not either, so as per usual, there's a lot of variables involving our own character that I'm not super clear on. That happened less with the Bachelor, because the Bachelor had a very clear motive of that he wanted to find out, he wanted to learn about immortality, and then was trapped in a city that's undergoing a plague and quarantine. So, you know, he had to deal with that because he was kind of elected into the position because he happened to be there. Oh, looks like it's time for stuff at the cathedral to happen. There's guards there. It was just a little caught off guard when he became fascinated with the polyhedron, and I'm like, I'm playing as you, and I don't know if I agree with you on what you're doing with polyhedron. Like, some sort of extra internal monologue might have helped, I suppose, and that's where this comes in, which is that they update this sometimes, but they don't tell us when it's updated or not very well. There might be a little pop-up in the corner for a second sometimes. So not knowing whether this is new or not, or when this changes, when this is our only internal monologue aside from these things, I guess, it's like, this is our primary mission statement, and so knowing for sure when that gets updated might have clued me in that the Bachelor was being almost becoming fanatical about the polyhedron, which I didn't catch while I was playing as him. But other than that, his story was more concrete, and I at least understood the variables more if not, like, the plague itself was a mystery, but what the stuff involving the character was not. But even by the end of the Haruspex campaign, I was like, oh Jesus, what the fuck is the Odong? Like, which of these, which of these things, like, what is, you have to kind of guess your goal, and I think at the end it's intentional that you kind of don't know what your own goal is to some extent, because you can't tell which of the two things is your goal. It's like it's a coin toss, and we're only halfway into the campaign so far, but at this moment, Clara is currently in that state where we're like, I don't know if the rat prophet tells the truth. I don't know if any of the people that claims to be prophets are prophets. I don't know if I have an evil sister or not. I have questions. All I know is that she clearly has magic powers because I've used them a lot. You from an infected area? This place has been quarantined. Here's the rules. 12 hours indoors, regardless of time elapsed since leaving an infected quarter. We mark the time of your entrance. If you see someone inside with signs of illness, knock at once. Do not approach the infected person until they're escorted out by executors. No, I was just passing by. They're currently doing the quarantine. So they're quarantining in the church right now. Yeah, that timeline makes sense. Yeah, day 5 is when they quarantine in the church. And then if anybody seems to be infected, they remove them immediately. And so on. Day 6, we find out that everyone in the church is dead. And that's when... we find out everyone inside is dead. The Bachelor investigates that. I think the next day the Inquisitor shows up. In said church of all places, which is my comment. Alright. You do you, I guess. I wouldn't want to hang out in that building, but okay. It's just where the largest concentration of people have died so far, besides the Termitary, but they didn't know that yet, because the Termitary was still sealed. We're gonna finally get to know whether or not Clara's the one who killed everybody or not, I suppose.
And why is it called Earth Plague? Do you really know nothing about it, daughter?
It is past time for you to stop haunting this house. Yorgi, I want to talk to you about your brother Simon. What could you tell me about Simon that I wouldn't know? I mean, Simon is dead. Simon is dead, but Simon is not dead. He has lapsed into lethargy while he fights the sand plague. The traitor Reuben must have known about it. Find out where he is hiding. Ask him whether it is still possible to undo at least some of the damage. I won't tell you unless you promise to pardon him. I shall only make that promise on the condition that he stands a fair trial, and knowing Reuben, I am prepared to believe that he himself will prove to be the most harsh judge of all. That is why I only want him found, nothing more. Alright, I'll find him. What will you accept as proof of his innocence? His word of honor would suffice. Let him swear that he will not attempt to escape. You shall vouch for him. Is it true that Katerina has recognized you as a mistress-to-be? This means you cannot lie. Alright. It means I'm not allowed to lie, or it means I literally can't lie? Because I seem to be able to lie. No justice would be able to clear Reuben of his guilt, even though Georgi seems to have acquitted him already. This hardly matters anymore, though. They named me the mistress. Sneaky, sneaky. Little Clara. Hello. How do you do there, sir? Are you coming down here? You appear to be floating, sir. Book me! I'm sorry for mocking your weird walking. Get. Everything's fine. Don't be dramatic. So yeah, I realized the error of my ways, which is that I was- oh, one bullet left. I was all like, I don't need no bullets, I got tons of them, and then I forgot, wait, bullets are how I loot these houses. Use lockpicks for the houses in the white parts of town. That sounded like too real for a minute there. In the white parts of town. Use lockpicks in the white parts of town, and use guns and bullets in the gray parts of town, where I can feel even more unguilty about my looting because I'm shooting other looters to just grab stuff from an empty house. And you don't do anything in the red parts of town because fuck those places. Who would ever want to try to loot those places? They're full of death. They also don't even have good loot, on top of being plague nightmare. I've been keeping busy in the middle of the day a little bit because the quests are resolving already, and I'm sort of just waiting to see if something would come in. But hey, a letter came in, and that's why I'm suddenly talking in the middle of this looting thing where I normally, you know, people had enough issue with watching me loot trash cans for 4 hours all the time as the Bachelor. So as a casualty of that a little bit, I've also been editing a lot of this stuff out because it's a little exciting, it's a little fun, but also you do the same thing like 10 times in a row sometimes. What I have learned is that this is the fucking rich part of town. I think I should have, I mean, it's kind of obvious from the house sizes and everything. But I just want to show you guys this real quick. Let's see, I have 1 bullet left, so we're done looting for today until I trade for more bullets. So that's Lara's house. And this is Lara's neighbor. And Lara's neighbor has a giant goddamn mega house. Look at this place. Jesus Christ. I'm becoming increasingly aware too that these are shitting rooms. These are rooms where you shit. Like, there's no light in this room, and it's the walls are unpainted or something, and there's usually like a bucket in the corner. Like, and there's like one on, yeah, this one, there's a bucket in the corner. I think those are shitting rooms, right? Look how many fucking drawers there were. This place took an eternity to loot. It's so spaced out and huge. I think it's a one-of-a-kind house. I'm so used to seeing duplicates everywhere. I think this is actually a one-of-a-kind house. And the AI can't handle it, by the way. The AI runs into walls in this building, and then you can actually shoot them through the wall because their head is clipping through the wall. And you can, or you can punch them in the face through the wall, and then they'll die. Like, this place is so vast. What do you even do with all this space? Look how big this kitchen is. Look how big this room is. There's a tiny get a fucking bigger table. Like, if you're gonna have a house this big, the least you could do is have a bigger table, I feel like. Look at this attic. Look at this attic. What the fuck? It's like a perfect dark level. The geometry here is insane. Oh, calm down. Look at this. It actually really does feel like a perfect dark level with its dimensions and everything. It's just so spaced out and vast. There's like 4 rooms in the attic. I call it the attic because of the roof already being shaped like this and everything. But like, holy crap, man. Yeah, as far as I can tell, yeah, the sad room with the bucket is the toilet in these places. Grace's note. There is a creature that wants to have a word with you. They call it a shabnak and think it's the man-eater itself, although I don't find it all that scary. Perhaps there is some mistake. It wants to talk to you. Your friend Grace. So I need to go to Grace's lodge, but I also need to head to Ruben's place. I kind of wandered off because there was a gray zone and I had bullets, so I figured I'd spend my bullets to get resources. Got 3 scalpels. That's it's just a weird theme for today. Some excess gloves to sell off, which usually the clothing is worth so much money when you sell it. And yeah, I've got a lot of nuts and some food. I'm up to 16 smoked meat. That's good. Got, yeah, 18 crowbars, so that's how many of them I killed today. Good little tally there. I'm back. Turns out they don't even want to kill you.
Master would have approved of my actions.
I've spoken to Georgi, and he has agreed to pardon you. I've already told you why I ripped the body apart. I won't be able to bring Simon back. But I might try to discover his secret. If Georgi cares more about his brother's mission than his person, he'll agree. What do you know about the Shabnak? My master did tell me he'd met a woman in the steppe. He asked her where she was going. She said to warn people. Could it have been just a woman? It was the disease in human form, a spirit. If my master said this is possible, then it must be so. and she did have the face of a woman. I know nothing else, except that my master didn't die of the disease, he was murdered. Thank you, even though this is hardly reassuring. What can I say about Ruben? He's a man who has committed the most harrowing of murders, and yet he is no more guilty than the rest. Would I be able to get this message through to Father? So far, just saying, pretty much answers his questions for you. What path should I take? It's pretty out of the way to go back to Father, but I'm gonna sleep there regardless by the end of the day, right? So it probably makes the most sense to head over to Grace's. See what kind of visitor Grace has at the moment. That should be interesting. I think Grace described it as a creature, right? Ooh, am I gonna get to see that thing again? That one creature from before in Bachelor campaign that did not appear in the Haruspex campaign, although I think I remember Sticky referring to the character. But never encountering it as that guy, as the Bachelor. Wait, why do I have 3 Twirene? Oh no, I can't make this math work. Oh well. Why do I have... Maybe I don't know. Maybe they didn't take the Twirene from me when I do with the Ruben situation. Maybe they only took the meat and not the Twirene, just by claiming they wanted both. Or maybe the game... Maybe I just coincidentally have reacquired 3 Twirene from exploring and whatnot, and haven't kept count. But it's a surprise to see 3. I probably just came out of containers and stuff. Oh my god. You have stuff. Well, I can afford 26. That's 2 fresh meats right there. And a dried meat. Click, click, click. There we go. God damn. We're off to see Grace. This is the safest zone to have in yellow mode. You never see the actual people that are supposed to attack you. Like, yeah, it's in yellow mode. Someone is around here that'll probably attack you, right? Supposedly. You like never see anyone because it's so spread out, and there's only like one road through the middle of the area, and I think that all the NPCs like to be on the roads. So you just don't have to deal with anything when you're running around on like the tracks or the many less direct paths where you go across plains and whatnot. Grace, have you seen a long neck?
I think they've fallen out of love with me.
It was so good of you to come. A dreadful, dreadful creature has been haunting the cemetery. It peered into my window last night. It didn't look evil to me. I should say it was rather miserable, but as soon as I saw it, I realized at once that it was earth-spawned. It was made of clay and bones. Was it her, the Shabnakadir? I don't know. It just looked somehow off. Just like the kind of creature the Earth would make. The Earth doesn't know what we really look like. It can't create a woman that no one would tell apart from a living one, can it? I, too, used to think it was a girl with a pair of sharp bones for legs. But what made you think it was miserable? Its face. And just everything about it. It wants to speak to you. It pleads for protection from some danger. What kind of danger? I don't know. How am I supposed to meet it? Is it going to haunt you again tonight? It will be at the Ragai Barrow come nightfall. It's been going there for a long time. I even think it may have been born there. Perhaps it's about what's buried in the barrow. Anyway, wait for it there, but stay away from dangers. Dangers? There are horrible people everywhere now, and their numbers are growing. They kill, they torture, they stab and slash. It seems no place is safe from them anymore. I dread to think they might soon start digging up graves. I'll be on my guard. Did I get a piece of paper? What was that? Best friend. Oh, maybe that sound is what you get when you get a new quest as opposed to an updated one? I don't know. Grace told me that my best friend will meet me by the cemetery at 9 in the evening. But who might that be? Grace says the two of us are very much alike. The more I think of it, the more I believe the mysterious friend is none other than Shapnaka Deer, the man-eater, made out of bones and clay. So 9 o'clock. I guess it's time to go back to these Sabrovs, because I have nothing to do until 9 o'clock, unless another quest shows up or something. It's my only letter at the moment. I didn't drop anything, did I? No?
What?
Just be careful and avoid those horrible men and their knives. Yeah, so it's supposed to be the albino comes to Ragai Barrow after dark. Well, that fucking spoils it. Who could this best friend be? Ooh, no one will figure it out. It's the albino. Okay. Like, you have to play as one of the campaigns before. You can't play the bachelor. You can't play the game does not let you play as Clara first. You have to play as the bachelor of the Haruspecs. I think a lot of people will play as the bachelor. That means you already know what the albino is. So if you say the albino, then I'm like, oh, I know who that is. I guess I know what's gonna happen now. Strange choice.
Daddy.
They say Haruspecs went down Ogimski's well. I hope he stays there.
Reuben was frank with me. He said the disease has taken the shape of a woman. Is he guilty? No, and he doesn't know who is. All right, let him live. So the disease is, after all, walking around disguised as a person. A woman. But who is she? Who indeed? Tomorrow we shall examine Yulia. She is a recluse, and I've had my suspicions about her for a long time. Even if it isn't her, she should at least give some clue as to where to look for the witch. She is intelligent. Certainly. This campaign's weird.
I've got a firm hand.
I think it's partly weird because the other two characters had so much agency. They were very much on their own mission and coming up with what to do to some extent. They were self-driven. Clara is just hanging out in this house and doing tasks aimlessly for somebody else. And these people are just like, investigate this person, investigate that person. And you could almost it almost feels like you could reshuffle the order of the investigations, like they aren't, like what connects them isn't even really important. So there's a sense that there's no momentum to the story.
Only in things of small value, they usually are bold enough not to trust to appearances.
That's why I have all the more reason to anticipate this part where hopefully Clara gets kicked out, because then she has to have her own goal or something, and some kind of momentum must start happening with like a storyline. Because I felt like we were watching a story continually unfold with the other two characters, even at this point, I think. But with Clara, every day seems segmented and separate, and we seem to even be barely aware of the going-ons of the city necessarily. I don't know. We are just kind of just taking tasks. It feels like the side quest campaign, sort of. Let go of your doubts, my daughter. We've read this before. I've talked to Peter. Oh, the pain. So how did it go? Do you need morphine? Yes, I've taken some already. Would you like me to relieve the pain? No. So what about him? Andre ruined everything. He threw me out. You idiot. Unforgivable stupidity. Why talk to Andre? Maria's paramour, a debauched murderer. He will not leave us alone anymore. He will begin to guard them now, like a cock guarding his roost. The pain is unbearable. My temples are torn apart with hooks. You're useless, more useless by the day. What? What did you say? Why hooks? What's the matter with you? I didn't mean to say that about you. Forgive me, this will pass. It's nothing. Don't listen to me. You need to rest. Sleep, mother. Oh, I lost an imperceptible amount of reputation. Where I can see it, I think I see a little gray there. It doesn't seem to matter very much, all things considered. Huh. Is that the resolution? What kind of a day is this? Did I do something wrong? What would cause them to change so much? Maybe I didn't accomplish much today, or the day before. But then I feel these failures are not something I could avoid. My new parents must be very tired by now. I struggle to imagine how difficult this is for them. It was the first time I didn't have to decide someone's fate, and the first time I'm happy I didn't. Reuben chose death for himself. Something tells me that I will see him again before long, and this time, someone will be kind enough to comfort him. This came in while I was on my way here. Capella's invitation. Come to the lump at once. Sneak into my chambers. No one will recognize you in the dark. We need to talk. I had a prophetic dream tonight, and you were in it. A terrifying calamity will happen tonight. I have the feeling that you're the only one able to prevent it. Waiting for you, Victoria Ogumsky the Younger. Ah. That's where the names get confusing. Everyone in their name is VO. Their entire family is VO. Why would you sign your letters as VO the Younger when there's two VO the Youngers? It could be Victoria, or it could be Vlad. They're in fact, why would you call yourself... It still feels like a misattribution. Why does it say VO the Younger? Why isn't it just VO? Don't use syllables. don't use initialisms if you're a family that shares the same initials across 3 people. You can't even say the Younger to specify between the two of you because there's 2 Youngers that are VOs. It's a mess. Why'd you say... Oh wow, it's already 6 o'clock. It's not that late, but it's a little late. But yeah, you said, come in. They won't see you in the dark. I'm like, it's not dark yet, Vicky.